then there's the inherent existence of the track, which is in understanding, because you're explaining it. So
Okay.
now we're all supreme mind?
Wait. The supreme, there's different, every mind, of course, relative. So you see, to get to an understanding of emptiness, there's many steps in between. And in a way, they're all special already. The first time, first, we have never had any sense of emptiness, right? We never even heard of it. There's only a wrong perception. Before I ever heard of Buddhism, I believed in the inherent existence of all phenomena. Now that is not terribly special. Of those minds, again, there are some minds that are better than others, so more special than others. But then, for the first time, I hear about the lack of inherent existence. I have doubt. Maybe. That doubt is said to be very special. Even just that doubt is said to really shake psychic existence, our suffering existence. So then I take it a little further. I have doubt. I just doubt. Maybe really phenomena don't exist inherently. But then there's something better than that even. I then get not just a doubt, I actually correctly assume that phenomena do not inherently exist. I haven't realized it. I haven't inconvertibly come to know. I just correctly assume. Okay? That is already a little bit better. Okay? Then I come to actually realize it. Incontrovertibly, I know I don't exist inherently. This truck doesn't. I get an incontrovertible knowledge. No matter what any of you tell me, no matter which Buddha, if a Buddha came along and even a Buddha were to tell me no phenomena exist inherently, I would not believe him. It's such a strong knowledge. No, I'm just exaggerating with the Buddha, but like someone that we really highly respect, who, we would never be, it's impossible to stop because we've known. But that is still a conceptual, intellectual knowledge. Now the last step is to directly realize it. To directly understand it, experience it directly. The way we experience chocolate. Or cream ball. Right? The way we experience that kind of experience, that's the last kind of mind. It doesn't get any better than that. Well, there's omniscience after that. But as like an ordinary being, that's the best state, that's the best antidote to all our misperceptions. The mind that realizes emptiness directly. So you see, it's all relative, it builds up, it's a step by step, step by step, step by step. But the best mind, the one we are aiming for, is a mind that directly experiences reality. So if I just had, doubt, yes, but a correctly assuming consciousness, I'd be so happy. Because I still don't really understand it. I'm so off mark here. It's so difficult to understand. But if I just had that second, doubt, correctly assuming, if I just had that. But it's already, my mind is already there's some improvement. A lot of room for even more improvement. And the supreme one is that. Supreme because that's the antidote. It's just an antidote to our misperception. Yes,
I need to go 15 years back.
15 years?
Yes, if I don't know nothing about Buddhism. We have one mind, one mental mind, don't we? Does the mind then, one time it's conceptual mind, and then it's a wrong mind, and then it turns into a supreme mind, and then maybe tomorrow it will again then be not a good mind, and not a correct mind, but we have only one mind. So is it true what I'm saying, or did I get all mixed up and forgot everything?
Okay. Parts of it are true, I would say. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. I think there's nothing incorrect with what you're saying, except there needs to be a little bit more explanation. We have everything is very much simplified in Buddhism too. Because we think in black and white kind of terms, so when we get the entirety of what it really is, we'd be so confused. So to keep it short and easy, we have 6 types of awarenesses. 5 sense consciousnesses. These are separate. There's the mental consciousness. That mental consciousness, it's a stream, okay? But just as a stream of water can kind of branch out, sometimes you have 2, and then they come together again. So there's an explanation that you can sometimes have 2 mental consciousnesses at the same time. You can have 2. You can have compassion for a person. You can have a mind that wants the person to be happy. But at the same time, that mind perceives the person to be inherently existent. It's possible. You can have bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, the wish to become enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings, and still perceive sentient beings. It is in the scriptures described that you can have two.
Maximum.
No, there's no maximum minimum. It doesn't say maximum. It definitely says in the one text that I think of, in that text, it says that definitely two. It doesn't say only two.
One of compassion. Compassion is a mind.
It's a positive mind, yeah.
Positive mind that
Yeah.
wouldn't change itself to a wrong mind or not wrong mind. This is a mind of its own, sort of. It's a stream that is there or not there.
That's a problem, because this is a whole big debate. There are some people who say a positive mind, that in itself can never become a negative mind. Or a negative mind can never become a positive mind. So if I have anger now, the continuum of the anger, it stops temporarily, and then love is a different continuum. But there is debate on that. No one really knows. People disagree on this. It's hard to tell because it's not something physical anyway. We think of it in such physical terms. So there's two assertions. One assertion says that a mind such as anger does not become love. It's a different mental consciousness that arises. And when the anger is not present, it just lies dormant. And that continuum is temporarily not cut, but it's not manifest. It just lies there in the form of seeds. And then there is a correct consciousness, and that, or correct or a positive consciousness, that changes into becoming a positive mind of a Buddha. I don't like that explanation. I find that's weird. I mean, but I don't know. It's just my opinion, and I keep changing. So I think actually you can have two minds sometimes, but it doesn't mean that a negative mind cannot become a positive mind. A bad person or an angry person can become a loving person. Why can't an angry mind not become a loving mind? But I don't know. I have no idea. There's different views on that. So to just give you the answer, you can make up your own mind on that. I'm not sure, because different masters have said different things. Maybe in some cases it can only be this. In some cases, the mind does not change. In some cases it does. I don't know. But the point is, my main point is, you have one stream of mental consciousness. That's usually just one stream. In time, maybe sometimes, we can have two. It kind of branches out.
So
And then they can become one again.
So actually, when you get to the supreme mind,
Yes.
it
Only one.
Only one.
At that time, you can only have one. You can only have this mental consciousness. There's no space for any other mind. When you realize emptiness directly, you wouldn't have two minds that realize emptiness directly. You wouldn't have a conventional mind.
And when you have a conventional mind, you also have only one.
Well, I think I answered that before. I answered that before.
Yeah.
Bodhicitta
Yeah.
and the mind
Okay.
these are two conventional minds.
Okay.
Yeah? So
Okay.
conventional in the sense that they're not taking as their object an ultimate truth.
Okay.
Yeah? So basically, you can have, when you have conventional, you can sometimes have a mental consciousness too. But I don't think it's that easy. Usually we have one mind operating, one mental consciousness operating, thinking. Just think of your own experience. Thinking of things, reflecting, planning, remembering, it goes on like that. When you realize emptiness directly, all conceptual thought is stopped. Only the direct realization.
Thank you.
Okay. And this direct realization, why is that not mistaken? That's the big question. So, ultimate truth, one explanation of ultimate truth, the lack of inherent existence of this truck, is not false. It is a truth. Not just is it a truth for a mind that realizes emptiness, but it's actually a truth. Why? It is true, and it's only true, not in the conventional sense, as Maya pointed out, not in the conventional sense, it's true, not a lie, and so forth. It is true in a specific sense, which means it exists the way it appears to the mind that directly perceives it. So to the mind that directly realizes the emptiness of this, it's not mistaken. To that mind, the emptiness of this truck does not appear to be inherently existent. Okay, this is where it gets confusing. My eye consciousness perceives the truck. Okay? And the truck is false because to my eye consciousness or to whichever other consciousness in my continuum that perceives the truck, this truck appears to be inherently existent. Okay? The truck is an object, and it always appears to be inherently existent to my mind. Therefore, it's said to be false. It's not the fault of the truck. It's the fault of my mind. But if I now am I able to cultivate a mind that directly realizes emptiness, then I realize the lack of inherent existence of this truck. Now, this mind is such that the inherent existence, the truck is not the object of that mind. It's the lack of inherent existence, the emptiness of this truck. That is the object of the mind. But the emptiness of this truck does not appear to exist inherently. It does not appear to exist inherently. Why not? Why not? It's in here. It's explained in here. Why not? What is it about this mind that directly realizes emptiness? What is so special? That the lack of inherent existence of this truck, or the emptiness of this truck, does not appear to be inherently existent. Yeah.
It's a convention.
Because I don't need the truck to think that way.
Pardon?
I don't need the truck to see it's empty.
You don't need the truck.
I have
that
it.
it's empty, yes you do.
But you could see the emptiness, you could perceive the emptiness to be truly existent.
Yeah, but
That mind doesn't do
if
that.
I perceive the emptiness,
To be truly
I
existent.
can say it about all things. So if we will sit in Dharamsala and you will ask if this truck here is empty of existing by itself, I would say yes, it is, if I perceive it. So I don't really need the truck.
Okay, now, when you perceive the lack of inherent existence of the truck is not perceived. Right?
It's not the object.
It's not the object. The truck is not the object. In that case, maybe we both agree. So when I perceive the lack of inherent existence of this truck, the truck cannot appear. Think again. What did we do before? When we looked for the inherent existence of the truck always disappeared, didn't it? Right? Every time it's like, where's the truck? Is it this? Is it that? So before we realize emptiness directly, we engage in ultimate analysis. So any time our mind is such that when we start engaging in ultimate analysis, the truck starts disappearing. Because we cannot perceive the ultimate nature of this truck and the truck at the same time. We cannot do that. It's beyond our capacity, our mental capacity. So when we start analyzing the truck starts disappearing. When we realize the lack of inherent existence of this truck, the truck does not appear. Only the lack of inherent existence. Only the ultimate nature of the truck. Not the truck. To that mind, when it realizes the lack of inherent existence, the truck disappears. The truck does not appear.
But
For other minds, for the mind, the I consciousness perceiving the truck is still there.
and also for the special mind
No. The special mind,
that perceives the lack of it.
inherent existence, yes.
It also appears
What appears?
that way.
The lack of inherent existence of the truck appears, but not the truck.
And
Right?
this object, the lack of inherent existence,
lack of-
appears non-mistaken and correctly.
Yes. Shuni.
So the lack of inherent existence is...
Let's say emptiness. Let's make it quick.
So
The
the
emptiness.
emptiness becomes the conventional truth? That is
No, it does not become a conventional truth. Because it would be a conventional truth if to this mind, to this direct mind, it would appear to be inherently existent. It would be a conventional truth because conventional truth here means false, something that is false, a falsity. It is not a falsity. You see, any conventional truth is a falsity because to the mind that directly perceives it, it appears to be inherently existent. But the difference between a conventional truth and an ultimate truth is that ultimate truth or emptiness, or the ultimate truth of this truck, or the emptiness of this truck, when that appears to a direct perceiver, can only appear to that kind of mind directly, then it does not appear to exist inherently. Why? That's my question. Why? Can you answer the question?
Maybe.
Yeah, please.
One possible answer would be that when we come to that state of mind, then we realize not just the emptiness of a truck, but also the emptiness of emptiness.
That's it. Very good. That's the answer.
But then
But then?
emptiness would disappear.
Very good. That's very good. That's very good. Very good comment. If I perceive the emptiness of the emptiness, doesn't the emptiness of the truck disappear? Well, no. Because only the emptiness appears. So all emptinesses appear. Okay? Only emptiness. It realizes the emptiness of all phenomena. It realizes the emptiness of all phenomena. A mind that realizes the emptiness of this truck realizes the emptiness of all phenomena. So also the emptiness of the emptiness of the emptiness of the truck. It realizes the lack of inherent existence of everything. So therefore, because even though it also so you're right. That's actually a very good point. It's a point of debate. If you realize the lack of if you realize the emptiness of the truck, does therefore not the emptiness of the truck have to disappear? Okay. The reason it doesn't is because it is also realized. You also realize the emptiness of the truck. It doesn't disappear because you realize it, since you realize the lack of inherent existence of the truck. So from that perspective, it doesn't appear because the emptiness of the truck does not appear because you realize the emptiness of the truck. It appears because you realize the ultimate nature of this thing here. Right? But you could argue that. When we do ultimate analysis, not realize it directly, but when we start first to analyze it, the emptiness of this truck, how does that exist? What is exactly? Then in that moment, because you just focus on that emptiness, the emptiness of this truck, that's the only object you have, then in that moment, only the emptiness of the truck appears. But when you have all emptinesses, then just the emptinesses appear. And the explanation why it's a non-dualistic mind is because there is when you realize the emptiness of all phenomena, dualistic is, the word in Tibetan as well as in English connotes a separation or something other than, it's like dualistic, okay? So, all that appears, it's a non-dualistic mind because only ultimate truth appears, no conventional truth appears. That's why it's a non-dualistic mind. That's one explanation. It's non-dualistic because all that appears is the ultimate nature of phenomena. Another explanation is that usually when we perceive something, there is a sense, when I perceive this truck, there is a sense, here's the perceiver, there's the truck. Subject-object, absolutely. There's a sense, here's the subject, there's the object. When I realize emptiness directly, subject and object become like water being poured into water. There's no separation. There's not the mind here, the object over there. They are as if they become one, if you like. There's no sense. So this is what I've explained a little bit further down the line, but I might as well go into this now. So, if you understand this, you've understood a lot about realization of emptiness. This is all part of the explanation of the true truth. Sorry, it's challenging what to do. But basically, if you get a little bit of a sense of that, and then maybe read through this again. I cannot explain emptiness or the true truth without giving you the explanation of that mind. And as Doron said correctly, the reason why the emptiness of this truck does not appear to be inherently existent to that supreme mind, to that special mind, is because also the emptiness of this truck is realized. So the lack of inherent existence appears. So the lack of inherent existence of this emptiness appears. And if the lack of inherent existence of this emptiness appears, the emptiness cannot appear to be inherently existent. That would be totally contradictory. You cannot have something that appears to be good and not good at the same time. Okay? So likewise, this truck can only, either it appears to be truly existent or not truly existent. Either it appears to be inherently existent or not inherently existent. So to the mind that directly realizes all emptinesses, all ultimate truth, also the emptiness of the emptiness appears. What does it mean, the emptiness? It means that the emptiness of this truck appears to be lacking true existence. Therefore, the emptiness does not appear to be truly existent or inherently existent. Truly existent, inherently existent, intrinsically existent. I use this different words for the same thing. I mean, if you were there the first evening, there's a whole list of things I gave you, like objects of negation, and I just use them interchangeably. Does that make sense, Mimi?
Yeah, the special mind knows that his mind is empty.
The special mind that knows that it itself.
It itself.
Yes,
is
it
empty.
itself
That's
also, it
why
realizes-
every phenomena is empty. No?
I mean, it doesn't. It's not like it's kind of like, oh, since my mind is empty, I'm also
No,
It
no.
doesn't really. It's not like that. It's like it realizes its own lack of inherent existence. It realizes the lack of inherent existence of the emptiness of its own mind, of itself. It just realizes the lack of inherent existence of all phenomena, of everything. That's why there's no sense I'm the subject and object. It just disappears. Because if you have a sense of subject and object, it's a conventional truth. It appears to be inherently existent again. No inherent existence can appear. No conventional truth can appear. There's no sense of subject and object. Yes.
I mean, intellectually, this is beautiful
Mm-hmm.
and it makes sense
Okay.
when you just look at it
Yeah.
intellectually.
Yeah.
And to experience it.
Yes.
To experience it, don't you need the development of another subtle intelligence?
Yes. Very good. Don't you need doesn't your intelligence have to become more subtle? Yes. Yes. With my coarse intelligence right now, not even intellectual understanding. You're absolutely right. I mean, the understanding we train our mind all the time. Our mind is this very flexible, pliant kind of entity that we can train. That's why intelligent games, brain games that you find on smartphones and stuff, right? They're all about training the mind, making the mind more subtle. And you do it with training your understanding. Buddhism is all about training the mind. And it's training it first to deal with coarser problems and so forth. There's also that part. But when we've overcome the problems that bug us the most, we take it to a level where we try to make it more refined, more flexible, to be able to actually hold this object. Honestly, I could have the Buddha right in front of me and give me the best explanation about emptiness. Since I don't have the mind to perceive it, I will not perceive it. Sorry. But it doesn't mean, so there's no quick fix kind of, I have the best explanation in front of me. It doesn't work. But it's all part of the development of making the mind more subtle. And it takes time, make it more subtle, more subtle. Through meditation, through concentration, you make it less distracted, more focused. That in turn allows us to dig deeper. And every time the mind is stretched, and it's like yoga. The word for study, the word for meditation, often in the tantric context is used, the word nenjo or yoga. It's actually in every kind of situation, kind of Buddhist practice. It's a kind of yoga, not a yoga of the body, but a yoga of the mind. It's an exercise to make it more flexible, more supple. Okay, but it takes time. But as I say, no deadline, and all the time in the world. If there's future life, all the time in the world, right? Okay. As long as we have a very strong self-cherishing mind, it's very important to think we have all the time in the world, because the self-cherishing mind wants to be successful and wants to get there very quickly. Cheap, quick. Thomas Dalai Lama always says that, especially Westerners. They want it quick, cheap, and best. Right? Okay, that's our culture. Tibetans are more laid back. So, in the beginning, this is very important. Let's take time, a step at a time. As Rita said today, start where you are, right? But then continue. You can't help it. If all the causes and conditions come together, even if you're kicking and screaming, you can't help it. You get a subtle mind, right? But the moment you have more compassion, more love and care for others, then there's an urgency that arises for the benefit of others. I mean, it would be great if I had that right from the beginning. But since I don't have it, since my self-cherishing mind, I need to make sure I don't go along with the self-cherishing mind, right? Be very, very skillful with it. That's not, let's take a step at a time. It's good. Let's not jump any steps. When I generate bodhicitta, then it's not good to say, I cannot say anymore, take your time. Because then I'm driven by compassion. And living beings are suffering. Let's look around us. So then my own benefit goes towards the back. It becomes secondary. I also benefit, of course, but it becomes secondary. My main goal will be other sentient beings. And then And if you ask the lamas sometimes, they give they seem to be giving contradictory answers. Do we need to go there quickly, or can we take our time? Some lamas say, well, take your time. Some say you should go there quickly. But it just depends from which perspective. If they talk from the point of view of being a beginner who doesn't have bodhicitta yet, who has still a strong sense of, my own happiness is most important, then we need to take it slowly. Because otherwise we get too ambitious and things just go terribly wrong. But once this very strong sense of me being most important, right? When that lessens a little, and it's really all sentient beings are most important, others are more important, when I get it, then there's an urgency that sets in. That's when I really need to, oh my God, no time to be wasted. And that's when I can start studying Tantra or practicing Tantra. Because Tantra is a vehicle that takes us there quicker. But only if I have bodhicitta, if I do it for the benefit of others. If I don't have it, I practice Tantra for my own self-cherishing mind, and boy, it's like driving a supersonic jet and I don't know how to drive it. Right? I don't have the qualification to drive it, and then it can be very dangerous. Does that make sense? Yeah? Anyway, sorry, I didn't want to go off on that.
Can I just maybe add something? I know you said it, but maybe for people who are not familiar with that, when you go mind that directly realizes emptiness, that mind is in meditative equipoise. You're not walking around seeing the lack of inherent existence of the truck. I think that's quite important.
Very good point,
If that's not understood, then you go like, how will I function in
the
supermarket?
Very good, very good. What Rita just brought up, we should not think of this meditating equipoise like you're driving in a traffic jam in Tel Aviv. Oh, very dangerous. Because yes, at the time when you realize emptiness directly, all your senses become non-active. Right? It's like it's an absorption. It's called an absorption when you just go inwards. And you don't stay in that. You don't stay in that forever. You stay for a long time. And then you come out of it again. And you go in again and come out again. Only a Buddha can do both. Be in that meditative equipoise at all times and also still function, communicate with people. Only an enlightened being can do both. So it's very good. I'm glad you brought it up. It's really something we need to understand. It's a very special mind that only through long meditation can be generated, and then we stay in that state for some time. We overcome some of the ignorance, come out again, and practice love, compassion, and so forth. Go in again, come out again, in and out. Yes.
That's what they say. Don't do it while driving.
Who says that?
Don't drink and drive.
Well, you should be saying that. Varda says it, but she's totally right. Okay, can we keep the questions a little bit? Okay? And please, don't forget the challenge. Maybe we can answer it ourselves. If you feel maybe I can figure it out on my own. Okay? Other than that, I'm happy to answer it. But let's just leave a little bit.